Hello, everyone. I want to make sure you can see the presentation. Does it look good on everyone's end? Okay, great.
Looks great.
Terrific. Megan, feel free to join us at any time. I wanted to welcome everyone to today's presentation. As Jennifer said, I'm Kim Kafka. I'm an admissions specialist with the college. Today, I will cover information on the SANS Technology Institute. I will also be introducing Megan, who is going to talk about our programs. She is a cyber threat researcher at IBM currently, and she's going to answer questions about the program and her experience as a student at sans.edu and how it's impacted her career. So I'm excited to get everybody on board, review admissions, requirements, curriculum, etc. So to begin with, we offer a variety of courses here at the Institute, and we often refer to the SANS Technology Institute and SANS Technology by our URLs. So sans.edu is the college, and obviously sans.org is the larger institute. SANS.edu was founded in 2005 as an independent subsidiary of sans.org. So our programs are built on and around SANS classes and SANS curriculum, with the GAC certification exams serving as your final assessment in most of your courses. However, at the college, we do have our own staff and some of our own policies for course structure. So it does differ a little bit from sans.org. Part of our policies are due to our regional accreditation. So sans.edu is regionally accredited by middle states. This is the same accreditation that's held by Johns Hopkins, Cornell, Columbia, Carnegie Mellon University, just to name a few. So we're in very good company as far as accreditation goes. Our students earn grades in all of their courses, and they receive a syllabus for each course. Everyone has a student advisor that helps them along the way as they progress through the program from the first day they start until the day they graduate. We have over 1,000 active students right now and are considered to be one of the top 5 largest programs focused solely on cybersecurity in the whole world. So I want to give a brief overview of our degree programs. Until recently, the SANS Technology Institute offered only degrees exclusively at the graduate level. However, and as Jennifer stated, so many people are new to the cybersecurity world or want to be, so we have adopted and developed some undergraduate programs to provide people newer to the industry a way to get into SANS training and ideally jobs in the industry. I want to talk mostly today about the master's degree, but I also do want you to note all the programs that we have listed available at the college. To give you a little background on the master's degree program specifically, back in 2005, the SANS leadership and SANS faculty looked down the road and identified that part of the cybersecurity workforce shortage was not only going to be the need for individuals with a hands-on technical skills in cyber, but also there was going to be a need for layers of individuals who could manage both projects and teams on a technical level, but also communicate up to the C-suite and understand business needs. So with this in mind, they worked first to define what the skills are that an individual would need to become an effective leader, and then they developed the curriculum in and around SANS training classes, GAC certifications, research papers, and group projects. So since then, we have also launched graduate certificate programs, which you can see on the screen. These are focused progressions of courses that map to individual job roles. We'll look at them a little bit later on in the presentation, but just keep in mind that that's a possibility as well. In early 2019, we launched our first undergraduate level program. This is a certificate program in applied cybersecurity. The ACS program lays the foundation not only for a career in cyber, but for advanced education from SANS, as I mentioned before, including if you have a bachelor's degree already, once you go through an undergraduate program as in someone newer to cyber, you could then potentially move into the master's degree program if that's something you want to work towards and apply for. And lastly, as of November 2020, we've added a bachelor's degree program in applied cybersecurity. So this program is designed to be an upper division program for students to receive a bachelor's degree from SANS Technology Institute. We're really excited about this. It's brand new. Students need to first get an associate degree from another accredited institution of higher learning prior to being admitted into our program. So here's an overview of the master's curriculum. We often describe this program as 70% technical and 30% security focused management and communications courses. So, thinking back to the mission of the school, which was to develop leaders in InfoSec, the master's program is a combination of both hands on, hypercurrent, technical content that you'd typically think of from SANS, combined with security focused management and communications coursework. In block one, you'll see there's a baseline for skills for individual practitioners, including the technical and management foundation skills covered in the GSEC, the GCIH, and the GSTRT. When you move into block two, you get more into the intermediary skills where students apply and synthesize the knowledge at the organizational level. So this includes the GDSA, the GCIA, and the SSAP. The first half of the program concludes with a hands-on group project and the core comprehensive exam to ensure that students have mastered the foundational skills before moving on to more advanced coursework. In block three, students dive into more specialized topics by taking their final management course, the GCPM, and then you get 3 elective classes. So you can choose to take your electives all in one focus area if you want to do a deep dive into a specific area, or you may pursue different electives in multiple areas to diversify your experience just a little bit. And then in block 4, this is designed to be a year of culminating practicums where students integrate all foundational and specialized skills learned in the program. They will hone their skills in Networks Continuous, contribute to the cybersecurity community through a unique research project of your own design, and demonstrate executive level communication in a hands-on group project effort. The program concludes with the GSE entrance exam, so students are poised and ready to challenge the GSE lab whenever they're ready after graduation. So now I want to bring on Megan, which is far more exciting than hearing all this stuff about the college. Megan has been in our master's program for about 2 years now and is currently working at IBM as a cyber threat researcher. Megan, welcome.
Hello, thank you.
So I'd love to start today, and thank you so much for being here. I know your day is so busy, but I would love to start by hearing a bit about your background and the steps that led you to the SANS master's program.
Yeah, so my educational background is I got my bachelor's in mathematics, not really sure what I wanted to do with my life, so seemed like a generic degree. I moved on to my graduate degree in digital forensics and then ended up doing an internship that led to a full-time position working with the state of Texas in a security operations center. While I was there, I started taking a couple SANS courses. I was lucky enough to have a training budget there, and they sent us to some SANS courses. And then when a couple years later in 2019, I was kind of thinking about going back to school and doing another degree, and having known the quality of the SANS instructional material, it made sense to kind of look at that degree program.
Terrific. And what made you choose SANS other than, did you look at other programs? Did you compare and contrast the different master's degrees out there in cyber?
Honestly, I love SANS so much. I went straight, I knew that there's a master's program here, and I went straight to SANS. So I also, having done a few certifications, I know there's a question in the Q&A that you'll probably answer later about applying existing certifications. So I was already 3 courses in before I even applied to the program. So just everything aligned with knowing this program was the right one for me.
Fantastic. And thank you for bringing that up. That is such an important part of sometimes what our SANS.org students bring into the program. They can bring in 25% of credit already earned and GX certifications. So that's gives you a great head start into the master's.
Yep.
So once you were in the program, how do you feel that the program sort of contributed to your career thus far? And then secondly, how have the skills you've learned benefited your on the job today, work?
Yeah, so it was actually great. One of the first courses I took as part of the program, or probably like second or third course in, I took the cyber threat intelligence course through SANS, and getting my job as a cyber threat researcher was actually a strange case because I had no background in threat intel. So immediately that course was super applicable to me, and gave me a great foundation for starting my career as a threat research and intel analyst. So That was really great. And all the material is super hands-on, very practical, unlike a university where typically you'd have a professor who got their degree and their PhD and all that in security and then started teaching and has worked in academia. All the instructors for SANS work in this field. And so both they know how to apply it to practical cases, and they have stories to share, a lot of them. So it's been great from that aspect. I feel like when I got my first master's degree in digital forensics, it was a lot of textbook and academic perspective, and it didn't necessarily prepare me for working in the real world. Whereas everything I do in SANS, I kind of feel like I get to apply it.
That's amazing. We love to hear that. We tell our students that all the time, and it's so nice to hear it in real life that it actually happens. Would you say that as you're going through these GAC certifications, everything you're learning is applicable to your on the job? You know, that it's very sort of, I can apply it tomorrow as I learn it.
So it really depends on the course. Obviously, so the courses I take, like applying the critical security controls, are a bit less applicable to me. But even when I'm taking forensics courses, even though I'm working at Intel, I find that it helps me, kind of gives me a different perspective on everything. So when I'm reading about how a malware family works or something, I can kind of understand that from the perspective of I've learned how to do analysis on that. Or when we're cross collaborating with the IR teams, I've got that perspective on how I should provide them intel so that it's actionable. So there's a lot that kind of gives me a perspective, not necessarily like in my day to day, I'm not necessarily going to pop open Wireshark and do network forensics, but I've got that perspective of knowing that how the forensic analysts use that.
Fantastic. So in terms of future career plans, how do you see this master's degree affecting your long-term goals, your future career?
So, like I said, when I started this job at IBM, it's my first job in Intel. My background was in a SOC analyst, and I still have a love for forensics. And I'm not really sure where I'm going in my career. I'm just kind of going with the flow. But knowing that I have all these certifications in, forensics and security controls and project management and Intel, it opens up such a wide variety of possibilities. And when I apply for those jobs, even if I don't have necessarily the work experience, I do have the educational background to say I know how to perform the job. So it just opens up such a wide number of paths. If anyone is in cybersecurity, you know that there's a lot of different subfields. It's not just cybersecurity. So this kind of sets me up to choose which way I want to go.
That's so exciting to have so many pathways available to you. So tell us, in conclusion, what advice would you offer to someone who's wanting to attempt or thinking about attempting this master's program?
Yeah, I think this degree is designed, a lot of people, I even see like some people asking like, this is full-time remote courses and stuff. A lot of people are going to look at this program and think of a traditional school program where they're going to have scheduled classes, and that's an option with SANS. But this degree program is designed around you being a full-time employee. And so one of the things that shouldn't scare you off is that you have a job and you're not going to be able to balance this into job, because the advisors know, the program knows that if you're coming in here, you're working full time. So it's been very, very flexible. I'm never worried about like, oh, I'm going to have to drop out because work is busy. Like it's very balanced. And then obviously, while the degree program is able to be completed in 3 years, it's so flexible. You can take 7 years, I think is the max, or something like that. There's a longer period. If you need to space it out, you can. If you want to get done sooner, I think I'm on track for 2.5 years. So if you want to finish courses early, you can do the on demand. So it's really works with a schedule. So I think that's probably one thing that scares people off about thinking about doing a degree while working full time. But unlike universities, that's not something you have to worry about with SANS.
Fantastic. And I can't believe how fast you're going to finish, Megan. That's crazy. But that's probably also, in addition to you being a superstar, you brought in some certifications.
Yeah, that helped too. Yep.
Because we tell students typically 3 years is probably the fastest you could do it.
Yeah.
3.5. But
Yeah.
again, you are unusual. I've heard from superstar material all the way. So thank you so, so much. And I'm noticing, Megan, if you have the time to just kind of stay a little bit at the end,
Yeah,
there's
for
a few
sure.
slides, but we might have time for a few quick questions. And
Yep.
then Megan and I will be available in the chat room after as well.
Yep.
So moving on just a little bit. I did want to touch upon our graduate certificate programs, because if the master's degree is too in-depth or too much of a commitment, too scary of a commitment, it's fine, because we do have other options for you. So these graduate certificate programs are designed to be shorter, technically focused programs that specialize in one area of cyber. So we offer 7 different graduate certificates, as you can see listed here. And in breaking news, we have a very exciting new cloud security program that's scheduled to launch this spring. It's under review right now, so we're hopeful by May this will be up and running. The course structure in these programs offers so much flexibility, even more so than the master's degree. Courses are taken on average maybe every 6 months, so roughly 2 per year. And overall, you can take 30 months to complete a 4 or 5 course program. So it does offer more flexibility. The master's program has a minimum of 8 credits per year. So you're looking at about 3 classes per year for the master's program. And then before we close, I wanted to touch briefly on 2 areas where we get a lot of questions, funding and admissions. So SANS.edu is eligible for a number of funding options. We offer VA education benefits, including the GI Bill. Employer tuition reimbursement is a very popular method of payment. And if neither of these are options for you, we do have a tuition payment plan for students, which allows them to break up their tuition payments into equal monthly installments. There are no fees and there's no interest for this program. So it's a great option if out of pocket is your only way to pay for the program. And then regarding admission requirements, to be eligible to apply to any of the graduate programs, you must have worked in the industry in a direct cybersecurity role for at least 1 year, and you must have a bachelor's degree. So with the economy, we are creating a little bit of flexibility when it comes to a working full-time professional. We realize there's been a lot of sort of upset in the industry due to COVID. So if you are unemployed, but you've been in the cyber industry, definitely reach out to admissions and we'll talk to you about individual exceptions to that rule. And then if you're interested in applying, these are our deadlines. We accept master's applications once a quarter and graduate certificate applications every month. All applications have a decision returned within 30 days for all of our programs. So you can see the calendar here. And then I just wanted to thank you so much for joining us. Again, please reach out to admissions at any time. I have listed my team members alongside myself here, and we are able to help you from questions to applications to enrollment. So as I mentioned, Megan and I are going to be available to answer questions in the Slack channel after this presentation. And I thought I think we have 2 minutes left that I can maybe jump into just a few quick questions. Someone asked, is this remote course only? Yes, this whole program can be done in a remote capacity. So there are no sort of in-person requirements that are necessary. Admissions is not contingent on an aptitude test, although we do have one that is mandatory for the application. It's a part of the puzzle, not the whole puzzle, but it is a requirement. The aptitude assessment is an important piece of the puzzle. For higher learning, do you accept technical schools? We can talk specifically about that if you have some specific questions. As long as you have a degree or a bachelor's degree in any area, it doesn't matter as long as it's an accredited college and a conferred degree. So I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I can answer very quickly. How do employers view the master's program? Megan, that might be one for you to just finish up with. What do you think if it's on someone's resume?
I know my work, I actually went in on the tuition payment plan, and then they found out that I was in the program, and luckily working for a big company, they had the budget to cover it. So that's been something great that they are definitely very supportive of. And if you look at any cybersecurity like job postings, typically there's a mention of GIX certs. So having the degree where that comes with like 8 to 10 GIX certs is definitely going to be a highlight to employers, because like it's not necessarily, I don't think it's the best thing, but it's definitely the case that right now employers do hold certs and degrees heavily.
Terrific. We can end on that note. And I just want to add that I have been in touch with employers who've said that they would take a GIAC certification employee over someone, who had a master's degree in another area, but did not hold any GIACs. So we thought that was pretty exciting. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Please take your questions, if I wasn't able to get to them, into the hallway channel, and Megan and I will be there to answer questions. Have a great day.